Have you ever seen something that just shouldn't be possible? I was out of town on a business trip. No one was home, but my security camera recorded someone walking around my living room, and it was me. Sleepwalking, the craziest part? It didn't. Just happened once. Watch until the end and tell me, how would you explain this? My name is, let's call me Daniel. What you're about to hear happened 2 months ago. A story that completely changed my perception of reality, love, and how far a person can go to control another. And the woman at the center of this story? Let's call her Sophia. Sophia, who said she loved me more than anything. Sophia, who would do anything for me, anything. This isn't just a love story gone wrong. This is about obsession disguised as devotion, about science used for manipulation, about how someone can literally steal your identity while claiming it's for love. If you're in a relationship where someone knows too much about you, controls too much of your life, or claims their obsessive behavior is just love, you need to hear this story. I met Sophia 8 months ago at a bookstore. I was looking for a book on behavioral psychology when she approached me. Interesting choice, she said, looking at the book in my hands. Do you study psychology? I'm an HR consultant, I replied. You? Neuroscience, specifically sleep patterns and behavior during altered states of consciousness. She was stunning. Wavy brown hair, intense green eyes, a smile that seemed to light up the room. But there was something more, a penetrating intelligence that was almost intimidating. We talked for 2 hours about everything: work, books, travel, dreams. She had a PhD in neuroscience from the local university, worked in a research lab studying sleep disorders. It's fascinating how our brain works when we sleep, she said, especially during sleepwalking. People can perform complex actions without any awareness of what they're doing. At the time, I thought it was just an interesting conversation. I had no idea she was studying me. Sleep is when we're most vulnerable, she continued. When our conscious defenses are down, that's when the real person emerges. She asked for my number before we parted. I gave it eagerly. That night, she texted, "I can't stop thinking about our conversation. You have such an interesting mind, Daniel. I'd love to explore it further." The word explore should have been a red flag, but I was already hooked. The first few months with Sophia were intense in a way I'd never experienced. She was passionate, devoted, completely focused on me. She sent good morning texts every day at exactly 6:30 a.m., called during my lunch break always at 12:15 p.m., knew exactly when I got home from work and waited with dinner ready. "How do you always know my schedule?" I asked once. "I pay attention to you, Daniel. When we truly love someone, we know every detail of their life." She knew my preferences with frightening accuracy. Bought wines I loved, but had never mentioned. Cooked dishes that were exactly to my taste. Chose movies I'd enjoy before I even knew I wanted to watch them. "You know me better than I know myself," I'd joke. She'd smile in a strange way. That's how true love should be. But it went beyond normal attentiveness. She knew when I had a stressful day before I told her. She'd have my favorite comfort food ready when I came home upset about work situations I hadn't shared. "How did you know I had a bad day?" "I can feel your energy, Daniel. We're connected on a deeper level." I thought it was romantic. I thought it meant we were soulmates. I was so wrong. After 3 months together, Sophia suggested she move into my house. "We spend so much time together anyway," she said. "And my apartment is small, lots of noise from neighbors. It's more peaceful here." I agreed. It seemed natural. It was after she moved in that I started noticing small, strange changes. First, I began having episodes of sleepwalking, something that had never happened in my adult life. I'd wake up in different places in the house, the kitchen, living room, once even in the backyard. "Did you know you were walking around the house last night?" Sophia would ask in the morning. "Really? I don't remember anything." "Sleepwalking can start at any age," she'd explain. "Stress, routine changes, new relationships. It's more common than people think. Second, I started feeling more tired during the day, even after sleeping 8 hours a night. Maybe you need more rest, Sophia would suggest. I'll make you a relaxing tea. The tea had a strange taste, kind of bitter, but she insisted it was natural herbs that helped with sleep. Trust me, Daniel, I know about brain chemistry. This will help regulate your sleep cycles. Trusted her expertise. Another mistake. Sophia gradually began controlling aspects of my life in almost imperceptible ways. Daniel, don't you think it would be better to cancel meeting your friends today? You look tired. Maybe you shouldn't. Drive when you're so exhausted. I'll take you to work. Your phone was dead last night. I put it to charge and took the opportunity to organize your contacts. Deleted some duplicate numbers. When I questioned these changes, she always had logical, loving explanations. I just worry about you, love. I want you to always be safe and rested. My friends started complaining that I was distant. My family said I seemed different, more apathetic. Serious relationships change people, Sophia explained. It's natural that you'd want to spend more time with me and less with others. It means we're building something real. She'd analyze my social interactions like a scientist studying specimens. Your friend Jake brings out your more reckless side. Maybe limit time with him. Your sister asks too many personal questions. She's probably jealous of our relationship. Slowly, methodically, she isolated me from my support system. And I let her, because I thought it meant she loved me more. That's when I started noticing Sophia knew things I hadn't told her. How was your meeting with the Johnson client today? She asked one evening. I didn't tell you about Johnson. Of course you did, yesterday, before bed. But I was certain I hadn't mentioned anything. Another day. You should call your mother, she's worried about you. Did Mom call you? No, but mothers always worry when their children are going through changes. But how did she know my mother was worried? I started paying closer attention. Sophia always knew where I'd been, who I'd talked to, what I'd eaten for lunch, which routes I'd taken home. Do you follow me? I asked directly. She laughed. Daniel, what paranoia is that? I work all day at the lab. How could I follow you? But her laugh didn't reach her eyes. Daniel, love makes us intuitive about each other. I can sense your experiences because we're so connected. She made it sound mystical, romantic. It was anything but. The sleepwalking. Episodes became more frequent and stranger. Sophia started telling me about things I did while sleeping. Last night you went to the kitchen and made an elaborate snack, sandwich with 5 different ingredients. Then you cleaned everything up and went back to bed. You saw me doing this? Yes. I stayed watching to make sure you were safe. It's impressive. How sleepwalkers can perform complex tasks. Another night. You worked on the computer for almost an hour. You were typing something, but when I approached, you simply closed everything and went back to the bedroom. This worried me. What was I typing? I couldn't see. You closed it too quickly when you sensed my presence. She studied my reactions, carefully, like she was taking mental notes. Your sleepwalking is quite sophisticated, Daniel. Most people just wander aimlessly, but you perform purposeful actions. I decided to install an app on my phone to monitor my sleep. I wanted to understand what was happening to me. The app showed I was getting deep sleep, but the REM patterns were unusual, strangely distorted. The following week, I had to travel for work for 3 days, a trip that couldn't be postponed. Sophia was visibly upset. Are you sure you need to go? Can't you do the meetings by video conference? It's an important client. I need to be there in person. What if you have sleepwalking episodes at the hotel? I won't be there to take care of you. I'll be fine, Sophia. It's just 3 days. Before leaving, I installed security cameras at home, officially to protect against burglaries while we were away. But secretly, I wanted to verify if my sleepwalking episodes were real. If I was really walking around the house unconsciously, the cameras would capture it. On the first night of the trip, at 11:30 p.m., I received a notification from the security. Jodima's movement detected in living room. I opened the app to check. What I saw made my blood run cold. It was me. walking through the living room, touching things, organizing objects, but I was 300 kilometers away, in a hotel. I stared at the screen, completely baffled. The figure in the room had my height, my body, my way of walking, wore one of my t-shirts. But I was in the hotel, far from home. This was impossible. I kept watching the recording, completely perplexed. The figure in the living room had my exact physical appearance, movements, even my characteristic way of tilting my head when thinking. But I was in the hotel, very far from home. I called Sophia immediately. "Sophia, there's someone in our house." "What? Are you sure?" "I'm watching through the cameras right now. It looks exactly like me, but I'm here at the hotel." "Daniel, are you sure you're okay? Aren't you dreaming?" "I'm completely awake. There's someone in our house who looks exactly like me." "Calm down, love, I'll check. Maybe it's a light reflection or some technical problem with the camera." She hung up. 5 minutes later, the figure in the living room disappeared. Sophia called me back. "I checked the whole house. There's no one here. All doors are locked. Must have been a system error. But I had seen it and recorded everything. Sophia, I'm sending you the video. Look at it." "Daniel, you're scaring me. You sound paranoid. Maybe the stress of travel is affecting you." But I knew what I saw. The next morning, I analyzed the recordings more carefully. The quality wasn't perfect, but clearly showed someone with my exact physical appearance moving through the house. It was me. But it wasn't me. The next day, I analyzed the recordings with more attention. The figure moved with my exact gait, gestured like me, even scratched his head the way I do when thinking. I called the security company. "Is there any way the cameras could replay old recordings as if they were live?" "No, sir. Our cameras only record in real time. It's impossible to overlay old recordings." "What if someone had access to the system? Only you and people authorized by you have access, and even then it would be impossible to fabricate something like this." Sophia had access to the system. I had given her the passwords as a security measure, but how could she create this illusion? I researched deepfake technology, holograms, anything that could explain what I saw. Nothing made sense with the basic security equipment we had. I called a tech expert friend. "Jake, hypothetically, could someone create a real-time deepfake that would fool security cameras?" "That would require serious equipment, Daniel. Movie studio level stuff. Why?" "Just curious about the technology. Unless someone had access to your exact measurements, 3D scans, motion capture data, it would be nearly impossible to fool cameras this way." But Sophia was a neuroscientist. She had resources, connections, and she'd been studying me for months. When I returned from the trip, I decided to confront Sophia directly. "I need to show you something," I said, turning on the laptop. "The recordings from the night I called you." Her expression changed slightly, but she maintained composure. "Daniel, we already talked about this. It was a technical error. Watch. First, then we'll talk." I showed her the video. She watched in silence, showing no surprise. "It is strange," she said calmly. "But how do you explain it? You were at the hotel." "That's my question. How do you explain it?" "Maybe astral projection. Some people believe consciousness can travel independently of the physical body." "Sophia, be serious." "I am being serious. I work with neuroscience. There are many things about the human mind we still don't fully understand. But something in her eyes told me she knew exactly what had happened." "Daniel, you've been under a lot of stress lately. Sometimes the mind creates explanations for things it can't process." "Are you saying I'm crazy?" "I'm saying you need to trust me. I'm a scientist. I understand the brain better than most people." She moved closer, touching my face gently. "Let me take care of you, Daniel. Let me help you understand what's happening." Her touch felt different, clinical, like I was a test subject. That night, I pretended to be asleep and watched Sophia. She waited until she was sure I was unconscious, then got up silently. She went to a closet I thought was locked and removed a box I'd never seen before. Inside the box, syringes, vials with liquids, and something that made my blood freeze. Dozens of photos of me from different angles, poses, and expressions. Photos I didn't remember taking, and a notebook with detailed notes about my habits. Routines, gestures, way of walking, facial expressions. Behavioral analysis, Daniel. Movement patterns during induced sleep. Optimal dosage for controlled sleepwalking. Effect duration, 6-8 hours. She was drugging me. Inducing sleepwalking. And somehow using this information to... That's when I saw the last page of the notebook. Behavioral Clone Project. Phase 3 complete. Next step. Permanent consciousness transfer. My heart stopped. There were detailed diagrams of my body, measurements, psychological profiles, research notes about neural pathway mapping and memory implantation protocols. She wasn't just studying me, she was trying to replicate me. I continued pretending to sleep while Sophia prepared. A syringe. "Sorry, my love," she whispered, "but it's for our own good. When the project is complete, we'll be together forever." Literally. She applied the injection to my arm. I pretended the drug was taking effect. Sophia picked up the phone and made a call. "He's ready, you can come get him." 30 minutes later, I heard voices in the living room. I peeked carefully. There were 2 men wearing clothes exactly like mine. One of them had a face that was being modified to look like mine. Prosthetics, professional makeup. "The conditioning is working perfectly," Sophia was explaining. "He obeys basic commands during the induced state. Muscle memory is being transferred successfully." "And the final phase?" asked one of the men. 2 more weeks of conditioning, then we can proceed with permanent neural transfer. The original Daniel will no longer be necessary. They were creating a controlled version of me and planning to replace me completely. The clone can perform all his basic functions: work, social interactions, daily routines. But it will be completely obedient to our programming. What about emotional responses? We've mapped his entire emotional spectrum. The clone will react exactly as Daniel would, but with built-in loyalty protocols. I realized with growing horror that this wasn't just about controlling me. They wanted to replace me entirely with a programmable version. I waited until Sophia and the men left the house. When I was certain I was alone, I quickly got up. I grabbed my phone, car keys, and all the evidence I could. The camera recordings, photos of Sophia's notebook, samples of the liquid she was using. I left the house and went straight to the nearest police station. I need to report an attempted identity theft, human cloning. I don't know what to call this. The officer looked at me like I was crazy. "Sir, what exactly happened?" I explained everything, showed the evidence. The officer was skeptical until he saw the camera recordings. "This is disturbing. We'll investigate." When they arrived at my house, it was completely empty. Sophia had disappeared. All equipment, documents, everything had been removed, as if it had never existed. But I found something they left behind. A note on my pillow. "Phase 4 will proceed as planned. Distance only delays the inevitable. Love conquers all boundaries. Daniel, even the boundary between original and copy. You can run, but you can't escape yourself, especially when yourself is under our control." The signature was mine, in my handwriting, but I didn't write it. This happened 2 months ago. The police investigated, but without physical evidence in the house, the case was archived. They said, "The recordings could have been manipulated, but I know what I saw. I know what Sophia was doing. I moved to a different city, changed jobs, cut contact with everyone who knew Sophia and me together. But sometimes I see someone on the street who looks exactly like me, wears clothes similar to mine, has the same gestures, the same way of walking. And whenever this happens, I receive a message from an unknown number. It's just love, Daniel. Soon we'll be together forever. Sophia said she loved me more than anything, that she would do anything for me. She wasn't lying. Last week, something happened that confirmed my worst fears. I was at a coffee shop when the barista looked at me strangely. "Didn't you just leave?" she asked. "You were here 5 minutes ago." But I had just arrived. "Sir, you ordered the exact same drink, said the exact same joke about the weather, even left the same tip amount. I ran outside and saw him, my exact double, walking away down the street. When he turned around and smiled at me, I knew. The project was complete. If you know someone who shows obsessive love, who knows too much about you, who gradually takes control of your life, run. Because sometimes it's just love can be the most dangerous thing in the world. And for you, Sophia, if you're watching this, I know you're still out there. I know you haven't given up. But now I know who you really are, and I'm prepared. The question is, which version of me is watching this video right now? The original or the copy? Thank you for watching. If you've seen something similar, or know someone who might be going through this, contact the authorities. And remember, not all love is healthy. Some love can literally steal your identity. Some love can replace you entirely, and you might never even know it happened.